You are listening to the Wyn Thomas File.
And time for another guest in the Wyn Thomas File. That is Robert O'Neill of the Groovy Shirt Club. Thanks for coming today.
And thank you for having me. I hope you are well too.
I am well, yes indeed, yeah. So the single is You Say It All. Does this come from Songs from the Loft or the Electric Flowers album?
Oh, I see. Actually, neither.
Right, okay.
So the Electric Flowers album, which is now on vinyl LP, after a long period of hard work to get that done, that was our first album, which has got 12 songs on it, which are a bit more sort of acoustic, orientated, sort of softer West Coast kind of sound. The Lost in the Loft idea is actually some songs that I found on old cassette tapes of demos that I did, which my mum had kept in her loft. She'd sort of built this sort of nostalgia box, I suppose you could call it, of sort of memorabilia that she'd sort of kept over the years of things that I'd done, and in that box were about 6 or 7 cassette tapes of recordings that I'd done of various demos of songs and recordings of bands that I was in garages and at gigs and rehearsals, and some of them were literally as simple as just recording a song on acoustic guitar and voice straight into a tape recorder, pressing play and record and capturing the song, and they just got lost for years and years and years. Some of them I'd never played live, never done anything with, and just got forgotten about. Wow. So I am revisiting those, and what's interesting about that is that, you know, it was quite an emotional journey listening to my younger self record these songs, and some of them had some good bits to them, some of them needed a lot of work, but there were about probably about 20 songs which are actually great as they are, and in their simplest form, just acoustic guitar and voice, and recorded very, very lo-fi with sort of hiss and wow and flutter from tape, and stood the test of time. So they sound great, going back, recording them back in this sort of analog era, and a nice sort of refreshing change to the modern sort of AI produced and electronic music. So I've got basically 2 albums worth of material from that venture, which and I'm very thankful to the pigeons that I could hear scratching around in the which is the reason why I went to investigate what was going on the loft. That's how I rediscovered these tapes. So I am going to turn those into Lost in Loft volumes 1 and 2, which I'm going to do next. But in the meantime, You Say It All, which is out now, is actually from the second album called Hi-Fi Joyride, which is another collection of 10 songs, which is sort of imminent. I'm working on mixing those right now, and the full LP will be out later in the year, but I'm steadily releasing songs one by one from that album, and it's a slight change in a sort of sound and tone from the Electric Flowers album, in that they are a bit more rocky, more electric guitar driven, and simpler arrangements with a sort of basic rock band setup with bass, drums, guitar, and voices, and that's a bit of organ here and there. That's basically it. Whereas Electric Flowers album's got strings and trumpets and other things going on. It's more of a simple rock and roll album. And following on from Electric Flowers, what I've decided to do this time around with Hi-Fi Joyride is actually make the vinyl LP the focus, rather than releasing songs online for streaming and then turning them into a vinyl LP. I've got this collection of 10 songs that have been recorded already, are currently being mixed, and then I'm producing them with the idea in mind that it's going to be a 10-track vinyl LP when it's finished. So there will be a couple of songs on that vinyl LP which are not going to be available for streaming, because and what inspired me to do that was that I wanted to do that process anyway, because I've always been much more interested in producing analog music and writing songs on real instruments and recording them with human beings. And now the sort of buck against the AI trend is interesting, because people are starting to try and produce music in a way that I have always produced music anyway, without sort of deviating into the sort of digital world.
Yeah, but I read that you believe in more authentic sounds and no electronic trickery, really, in a way. Yes, that's what you'd like to do. Yeah.
Yes, it's sort of going back to the bands that always inspired me, particularly from the 60s and 70s, which were bands like Bread and the Eagles, John Denver, Beatles, the Stones. Those are sort of groups that my dad used to listen to, and he had vinyl LPs of these bands, and he would put them on, and that's what I grew up listening to. And I always had an affinity with those sort of groups and that sort of sound. It resonated with me and stuck with me forever. So when these various sort of eras have come and gone since, I've always had my head and my heart firmly planted in that era. So the way I go about writing songs, which is born out as authentic and true by the discovery of these tapes in the loft, I haven't deviated from that and always done it. So I continue to record the songs with a band in a studio and human beings actually playing their instruments. That's how we've done it with Electric Flowers album. That's how we've done it with the Hi-Fi Joyride album, and that's how I will be doing it with the Lost in the Loft tapes.
I look at the cassettes. You've obviously written these songs since childhood. So something you're doing from quite a young age. You've been writing songs from quite a young age then, haven't you?
Yes, I was. I mean, I sort of first picked up a guitar. I started off actually on trumpet, and then got more involved, interested in rock and roll. Moved on to drums when I was about 13, and then was about sort of 14, 15-year-old. That's when I got interested in guitar, because it was a more suitable kind of instrument to be able to write on. And I have been writing songs basically since I was about 15 years old, and there are one or two songs on this Lost in the Loft collection which are around about that era. I do actually remember the first song I ever wrote and recorded, and it was pretty ordinary, but that's gone. I won't be doing anything with that, but it sort of got me started and given me the confidence that actually I can actually do this, and then just because it didn't have sort of electronic methods back then, it was getting or borrowing a 4-track recorder from the school or the local college was luxury, because I was actually be able to do a couple of overdubs and put an electric guitar part on that afterwards. But essentially it's the sort of raw version of the songs, and that's how I still do it now. I record demos of the song idea that I've got in mind. I send those demos to the guys in the band, and we get together and rehearse them and workshop them and go and play them. And then when we get in the studio, they're a sort of an amalgamation of ideas and things that I've brought to the arrangements, and we record people, human beings playing the songs.
Yeah, of course that group is the Groovy Shirt Club, as I said. Who's in the Groovy Shirt Club? Who are the people who were with you there?
Okay, so the sort of lineup has evolved a little bit, but essentially I'm the songwriter and vocalist and guitarist, and then there's a sort of core to the group, which would be Neil Bullock on the drums, Richard Sadler on bass, Olive Brown, who does the female vocal parts and takes the lead vocal on some of the songs. And then I'm very lucky in that I have 2 genius keyboard players. One is Mike Gorman, and the other one is my brother Bruce, who also plays piano and organ. And then, between the 2 of them, the recordings are a lot of them have sort of 2 keyboard parts on them, a piano and an organ, or a string part, or some sort of combination of the 2. and they're both very good at complementing each other. From a studio point of view, there's 6 of us, and then when we come to play live, we sort of build something around that with those 6 members. And when, like I said, with the Electric Flowers album, that has some brass on there, and then we have friends who are session musicians who actually play with some really big artists who bring trumpet, and there's a flute part on one of the tracks on the Hi-Fi Joyride album. It's actually the title track, Hi-Fi Joyride. I got a friend to come in and put some funky jazz flute on that one. So it sort of expands a little bit, depends on what I want to do.
Yeah, those guys have obviously worked with lots of other people as well, haven't they? I mean, I've read about they're different people as well. What also amazed me on that was that one of the members had worked with the Royal Shakespeare Company. What's that all about, please?
Yes, that's actually Bruce, who's my brother. He's worked for the Royal Shakespeare Company for a long time. He was freelancing with them for 3 or 4 years, and then ended up working for them as a full-time salaried employee as a musical director, and then ended up becoming the head of music. So he's since left the Royal Shakespeare Company because they offered him redundancy because they decided to close the music department, believe it or not. But what he brings to Groovy Shirt Club is his years of experience as an arranger, and he's an extremely competent piano player. So on a lot of the songs on the Electric Flowers album, there is a piano, and Bruce plays piano on all of those, and Mike plays organ. And on the Hi-Fi Joyride album, there's a mixture of the two, so there's some organ and piano on the songs on that album, and between them, Mike and Bruce do that as well.
So you're obviously doing a lot of studio stuff at the moment. Are you planning to perform live somewhere? Is that in the cards?
Yes, it is. What I want to do is pull some shows together later in the year, around about October time in the autumn. Mm-hmm. And the idea behind that is to showcase this second album, Hi-Fi Joyride. So once all the songs are out from that particular album, then I'll do some live gigs with probably 7 of us, because to do the live show, I also want to add another guitar. Right. Because from my point of view, because I'm singing the lead vocal all the time, either myself or in dual harmony with Ola, I prefer to sort of play either electric rhythm or acoustic rhythm guitar, and then bring another guitar. So there'll be 7 of us, because I want to try and reproduce the sound that you get from the recordings, and do a concert which is going to be a mixture of the Electric Flowers album material, the Hi-Fi Joyride album material, and I also want to throw in some new songs that people won't have heard, which are to give them an idea of the concept behind Lost in the Loft. So there'll be some songs from that collection as well. And again, sort of going back to the analog days, that what bands used to do was go out and play and entertain people, and the idea being that they would have some good songs, basically to keep people energized and entertained in a live scenario, and not necessarily be songs that they'd released or were going to release anytime soon. It was just purely about the people in the room, in that live experience, enjoying the band play. So it's going to be a mixture of those things, and it's sort of, again, it's for my sort of analog warrior hat on again, going back to the days when we just used to do that all the time. Now it's about, I've got to record it, I've got to get it out, it's got to be streaming and all that kind of stuff. From my point of view, it's like, actually, no, it doesn't. And as an independent artist who's doing everything on my own, and it isn't, at the behest of a record company or a manager or anything, I can kind of do what I want. So it's sort of freeing in a way that I can, use all this material and let people hear it. So it'll be a mixture of things, and a broad range as well of styles. There'll be stuff that's jazz influenced. There's some material that's a bit more sort of soft acoustic, some big ballads, and some edgy rock and roll songs as well.
Well, there we are. Yep, well, you are, Robert. I must leave it there. Thanks so much for your time today. That's Robert O'Neill of the Groovy Shirt Club, and the new single is You Say It All, and we'll play that now.